Whoa.
Everyone out there in Vacuum Land, this is Joan Isberg-Heron, and you're listening to Character Driven, CHLY 101.7 FM. Welcome to the show. And we are in the studio. We are here, and I say we because I actually have someone in the studio this week. Sometimes I'm here all by my little self. It's very sad.
Not today.
No, there's the dulcet tones of my friend Lindsey.
Hi. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here.
This is Linday Vukovich, and she's from Victoria, and I dragged her up to Nanaimo, beautiful downtown Nanaimo. Here we are under the Queen's Hotel, and the reason that I brought her up was just because she's my friend, but the reason I was down... just my friend. But we are friends, and I was privileged enough to see her on stage on Friday night. I was just so excited, and I picked up her kids, and we went to see her in the Victoria Soul Gospel Choir. I think it's actually, that's the full name of it.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about the choir.
Well, I joined that in September on the sort of threat of my kids that if I didn't join it, you know, they'd do nothing. They'd just completely ignore anything I said because they had to get me out of the house, basically. So I ended up going to this choir. Well, actually, first of all, let me tell you something. They said, you've got to get out of the house, Mum. What are you going to do? And I said, well, the only reason I'd join a choir, because this was a suggestion, would be if there is a gospel choir, and there will not be a gospel choir in Victoria. There's just no way. It's like, I mean, that would be just
You were just
crazy.
doing that to make it so that they could never find you. You still could stay in the house.
So in 5 minutes, they found this choir on the internet.
Dang the internet.
Not only that, but, you know, they were singing, and it was just fantastic. Led by Chico, who's formerly of the Commodores, and Lionel Richie, and all these brilliant people.
Name. Let me try his last name just to see if I can do it, because I've got it phonetically.
It's half Hawaiian.
Okay, he's Chico Tohomeso.
Yeah.
Tohomeso.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got it phonetically spelled out here, but...
he was brought up in Hawaii, right?
I think he was born in, according to what I've found on the internet, and this could be absolutely untrue, but he's born in Florida.
Oh.
But raised in...
I know he's raised in Hawaii.
In Hawaii. So that he's... Let me just say, he born in Florida, raised in Hawaii, as well as Okinawa, Japan. So he's been all over the place, and so that would explain his name. He's
absolutely amazing.
He's got like Cuban in him as well. He's got. I'm just trying to see. He's got a Cuban back, African American Christian mother, and Peruvian African American Jewish father.
So about covers everything. Really.
That's right. He's an amazing man.
He is the most soulful human being. You know, without pushing religion down anyone's throat. I mean. His one mandate when you're singing is, first of all, you don't have to audition for this choir, which is a big yes.
Yeah.
And
for him,
his big mandate is you sing from the soul. That is what gospel is. You open your mouth and you let that emotion out. And you wouldn't believe how much better you feel after 2 hours of that, let me tell you.
I know. Well, even for the audience. I mean, it's amazing.
They were on their feet.
They were on their feet.
All of them.
But you could feel it gives you chills. It absolutely does. I mean, it's partly because the singing is so amazing, partly because he's singing, and he's got that whole je ne sais quoi. He's moon dancing. This guy's, 69, and he's like Michael Jackson up on the stage.
Yeah.
And then,
but also he does all those arrangements too.
Exactly. And he's playing.
Yeah.
And then he's conducting.
Conducting us. 4-part harmonies.
The guy.
You know, I mean, yeah.
Tell me about him coming over. We're going to have him on the show. The reason that I'm building up to this is because I am going to have him on the show, either by phone or actually in the studio. But I wanted to really give him credit because he is amazing. And from your point of view as someone in the choir, and mine as a person in the audience, I just think, man, this guy's got the energy. And so tell me about where he came from. He comes over on the ferry,
right? He comes over every 2 weeks for rehearsal, and in between that we rehearse on our own with a choir master from the choir. And he journeys from Vancouver every 2 weeks. He's also got this similar choir, but much bigger, in Vancouver. So this is, he's very well known amongst choirs, especially gospel choirs. And I know that a few months ago he was singing with Streisand and... I mean, he's amazing.
He's very humble. Like, you'd never know that he was just singing with Streisand. He sort of talks a little bit about some of his travels and some of the things. He was a backup for Marvin Gaye when he did his European tour. He was on
that final tour. Mm-hmm. I've not spoken to him about that. I've only just joined. So really, after the choir performance on Saturday night, that was the first time I'd really had time to talk to him, because when we're there every week, it's just work, work, work.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's a bit of a
disciplinarian, and rightly so.
I love the fact that he has this big cross right over his heart, and it's a cross with dove wings, and he's just a small man, but he's got this beautiful leather jacket, and he's an evangelist, and he said that this is his way of evangelizing people through music. And I think, man, what better way through music and through choirs, because when you're singing you get the benefit, but the audience gets the benefit as well.
Yeah. So
it's just an evangelical fest, really.
It's wonderful.
And then at Christmas time, I love the fact, too, that he takes the focus off of the Santa blah, blah, blah commercialism, and he's saying, let's get right back to what it is, what we're celebrating here.
Yeah.
So last week we did the Hanukkah show, and I thought it was time that we, introduce Christmas, because in case you didn't know, it's coming up.
I can't believe it. Every year I do this. What date is it?
Today?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
See, I've done nothing. Nothing. Again, every year I say, well, next year, I'm not going to leave it like this.
Well, that's the problem, though, is that it becomes so commercial and such a stress. It's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be our family.
I see all these people, running around crazily, and I say, I'm not doing it. But then I get to the point where I've done nothing, and you have to do something, so, ugh.
Oh, well, we'll all get together and do something. We'll drag all our friends together and family.
Yeah, right? And that's what it's about.
That's what it is, friends and family. And so we've got... Between us, we've got 8 kids. Oh, dear. Well, anyway, other than that...
Enough of that.
Yes, we won't even go there. But today's our day. We're talking about us. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your background, too, because as people in the audience might recognize, you have an accent.
Yeah, slightly.
You're from Sherwood Forest.
I'm from Nottingham originally, although you wouldn't know that now. Because in Nottingham, people talk, are you going downtown? Are you going downtown, love? It's all like that, me duck. So it's a very heavy Midland accent, and that was sort of schooled out of me from very young, because I was a child actor for all my sins, and then went to ballet school, the Royal Ballet School, and then I got back into acting, and it sort of went on from there. Mm-hmm. But you wanted to ask me about pantomimes, right?
Well, I want to ask you about various things, because I know at this time of the year, there are probably people in the audience that are, like you, have been a little bit displaced. You're used to, you've been here for a long time. But you tell me about pantomimes, because you brought it up.
Well, that is a seasonal thing, and I don't know whether they're still going on, but it's a huge part of theatre in England. Every single region has a huge, or had a huge theatre holding 2,000-3,000 audience members, and every year for at least 3 months they'd have these huge pantomimes with stars. And I think nowadays they put the TV stars in, so you get them from EastEnders, from Coronation Street, and they go in and do these traditional pantomimes. So they have the dame as a guy dressed up as a woman, and it's that old, tradition of that. And they're doing Mother Goose or Babes in the Wood.
I think it's because sometimes they had people who they needed to portray as being maybe not as beautiful as they could be, so they just got the guys in there.
I don't know the full history of that, but it's the comedy element as well.
Yeah, the element of surprise.
So like Cinderella, you had the two ugly sisters. They were always men, and often, a sort of partnership of comedy duo. They would be the ugly sisters, and so we were the theatre school that provided all the kids for those pantomimes. And I remember one year I was Girl Babe. It was Babes in the Wood, so you got to do a bit of acting, which was great. And I do remember that one year telling you about Ivor Emmanuel. His voice. I mean, I must have been about 10, but even I knew then that voice was unbelievable. We all know the Welsh can sing, but ooh, this guy. And he used to sing Impossible Dream and Autumn Leaves. And we were on this log for about, 20 minutes, which felt like 20 hours, being covered with leaves from up above. And he used to sing the Autumn Leaves. But I don't think we've got that at the moment,
couldn't
have we?
find
No,
Autumn
we couldn't
Leaves.
find it.
But we did. You were telling me that he was also in a movie called Zulu, and so we did find him singing in that. And I do have another one as well. But maybe you can just set up the movie because this is radio.
Yeah.
But you can go onto YouTube and let's spell his name for everyone who wants to go on and take a look.
So this is a great Welshman called Ivor Emanuel. He was an actor and a singer. What a voice, as you will hear. But he was an actor and singer way back in the 40s. He was a movie star.
Yeah, this is from 64, but it may as well be in the 40s.
But we were looking back, and I just couldn't believe it. What a handsome guy, and what a voice.
Yeah, I think this is probably from the 40s, this other one that we're going to play as well.
But going to Zulu, most people will know him from Zulu. He starred with Michael Caine. You know, they were out in Africa. Is it the Boer War? I don't know, but... amazing movie. I think it won many awards. And he starts singing on this final battle line, as I'm sure happened, for morale. And so I think we've got that, haven't we?
We have got it. And so in that movie, we have Michael Caine.
That was his first movie.
These were all people. See, now I haven't seen this movie, and yet you said it was really popular, and probably that's one of those cultural things where you were in England at the time. And here I was over here not knowing. So what we'll do is... This is a little tribute to him, and I guess somebody put this on YouTube for when he died in 2007, but this is from Zulu. So for those of you who can't see this movie, you can go to YouTube and take a look for it. Just look up, when you go to YouTube, just look up Ivor, Ivor, Emmanuel, just as it sounds, and Zulu, and you'll see this. But meanwhile, they're on the front lines. There he is. He's covered in smoke.
He's got Stanley Baker standing next to him, Jack Hawkins, and of course it was Michael Caine's first movie.
Okay. Yes, and so we're going to just bring that up, and everything's going to just be swell. We're going to hear him. Next to you here is going to be him.
Yeah, just listen to this voice.
Okay, here we go.
Stop your dreaming. Can't you see their spear points gleaming? See their warrior pennons streaming to this battlefield. Sing! Men of Palestine, stand ye steady. Come on, sing! Cannot be ever said ye. Oh, the man with a breaking flag never yield. The mighty foe surrounding, never let on to glory. This will ever be your story. He thirsty for ye, when men will not yield. Stand ye steady, if thou not
At 100 yards, volley fire present.
We don't want to see this part. Oh, no, that's not fair. Oh, actually, they're doing well. Okay, so...
The redcoats, yeah.
Yeah, so that is a pretty amazing little clip there.
Yeah.
if only battles could be won by singing, because we have.
That'd be great.
Yeah, we've got the red
Chico
coats
be in there.
I think that really should be how we should have sing-offs.
Yeah.
That's how it should be done. Because for those that couldn't see it, we were sitting there riveted to it. But you've got the Zulu warriors on one side that are singing and doing their their drums.
The tribal dance, yeah.
And that must have been very intimidating as well for the soldiers. But anyway, that's Zulu, and you hear the amazing
You heard
voice
a
of that
little
man.
bit of the voice of him. Yeah, he was just amazing.
Amazing.
And he used to sing Impossible Dream every single night for 3 months while we slept on the log and were covered by leaves. But every single night, I just thought, wow. Mm-hmm. And I was 10. Mm-hmm. I didn't know, but I knew what was good. He was...
Yeah, well, that's... And
I said, he was huge. Lindsay, he's a really famous guy. I said, oh, right.
Well, that's the great thing about being a kid, because you just don't realize everybody's the same. They're adults, and you appreciate the voice, I'm sure. But you actually sang with other famous people too.
Well, I was in other pantomimes with different people: Jack Douglas, Arthur Askey, Dickie Henderson. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's a great way to grow up, I suppose.
Yeah. So, and you were
8 shows a week. 3 months of every year, around Christmas time. And those theatres were a huge business. They were 3,000 people and they were owned by Moss Empires. So it was a huge business. And I don't know whether it still is in England. I don't know.
Oh, I think so, because it's a big business here. Everyone loves their pantos. All the people all the expats. Yes, that have come over. Now, I'm just going to see if I can find Impossible Dream, because we all know it, but I don't think we're going to be able to find him singing it. But it would be... actually, we have another little clip of Ivor Emanuel. I want to call him Ivor for some reason, and yet it's Ivor. Just get it through my thick head.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
It's Welsh. It's Welsh, oh boy, oh. But I think he sings about the Welsh village he's from, doesn't he?
That's what we need to find.
I don't know whether we've got that.
Well, I want to just do this little bit too. This is just a very short one where somebody else... This is called My Dearest Dear. This is from a long, long time ago.
Oh, yeah. This is when he was young.
Yeah, sorry. I'll just bring that up.
They're all dedicated to you. My dearest dear, if I could say to you, in words as clear as when I play to you, you would understand how slight the shadow that is holding us apart. So take my hand, I'll lead the way for you. A little waiting, and you'll reach my heart.
My dearest dear, if I could say to you in words as clear as when I play to you, you understand how slight the shadow that is holding us
So that gives you a sense of that guy's voice. Amazing. That is credited to 1922. I don't think it was that early.
No.
It's funny.
Maybe they're talking about Ivan Novello. Because, yeah.
Right, because he was the one that wrote the song.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think so, yeah.
But this is Ivor Emanuel and Julie Bryan who are performing that. So that just gives you a sense of the kind of talent that was on stage when you were doing these pantos. Mm-hmm. For some of us that haven't...
Although I wasn't aware of that, I just knew they were really good.
Mm-hmm. But it's interesting because you're kind of coming back. You're kind of coming full circle when you're back on stage singing. Mm-hmm. So that was I think that was the interesting thing that we were relating to, is the fact that you were on stage at Christmas time doing these pantos, and you also did. Okay, tell me about being on stage with Vera Lynn. Or you were on a TV show?
So I did a little bit as a child, acting and singing and dancing, and then got through my school and went to the Royal Ballet School, but missed quite a lot of what I'd been doing and didn't want to just do ballet. And I then got into the Young Generation, which, by the way, was run by Nigel Lithgow.
Oh, really?
Who, of course, has now got dancing...
Right.
What is it? So you think you can dance, right? And he doesn't look a day older. It's something weird. I want to know what it is.
Well, apparently
Nigel, help me.
He's been dancing a lot. I mean, that's clearly when people dance.
Well, even then he was choreographing. He was always known for that. And so I did a couple of shows with Vera Lynn, and he choreographed the Young Generation for those backup dancers and things. One of them was with Bing Crosby and Vera Lynn. And then I can't remember what the other one... I think the first TV I ever did was, I remember Walk On By, Dionne Warwick. And I've loved that song ever since. And we did a great choreography to that. Yeah.
So we're going to play, in fact, a little bit of Dionne Warwick's Walk On By. Because you can... This is nothing if not eclectic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like me and you.
Exactly. We're not the most linear people in the world. So it's like, okay, we're Christmas. Now we're Dionne Warwick. We're going to do a little soul. But I think that goes along with the gospel choir. And, and the roots of a lot of people like Dionne Warwick. She started
in gospel, and Whitney, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All of these.
Who's her aunt, right?
Right. They all started off in the church. And so this is, the benefit that we got was Motown. It's amazing. Okay, so this is Dionne Warwick, and many of you in the audience will know, but for those of you that don't, this is Dionne Warwick, Walk On By, and I would say it's, 1965?
Yep.
Something like that? Okay, I'm going to go with 65.
I was so young then.
We were young, exactly. So this is Walk On By.
If you see me walking down the street and I start to cry each time we meet, walk on by, walk on by. Make believe that you don't see the tears, just let me grieve in private, 'cause each time I see you, I break down and cry. Walk on by.
Yeah, just great. There's only one Dionne, eh?
Amazing. I know a lot of people just know her from like The Apprentice or something. It's quite funny. I don't have TV, but I heard that she was on The Apprentice.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And I just thought, that's really strange. Why would a person do that? But anyway,
Get back out there.
You just never know why.
Mm.
But that was our
That was one of
heyday.
the shows, and then the next one was Bing Crosby. The next week, I did one with Bing Crosby, and he...
Just happened to be on.
I can't remember what we were singing. It was springtime, so I think it was something about June and spring, and But
And it rhymed a lot.
Yeah,
And
it rhymed a lot.
a lot of things
and we were
that-
tap dancing. That's right, tap dancing around Bing Crosby.
So you're like a triple threat. You sang, you danced, and
Well, you had to, yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah, you
For
had
any
to do
of you
everything.
that don't know what a triple threat is, explain that.
Well, you got to be able to sing, dance, and act. Although, it was a bit difficult, like at that time, it wasn't like Broadway where you were sort of taken seriously as all three. In England, you really struggled to get hold of a script and read it if you could sing and dance, because they kind of put you in a pigeonhole where, you can't possibly act. So it was really tough to be taken seriously as an actress. I had to go back to drama school to do that. Yeah.
Are actresses taken seriously even today? I don't know. But at
Depends
least
what they do, yeah.
But it seems like you have to have all these different talents if you're going to go anywhere. I mean, you look at I guess if that's what you want to be doing, if that's what your goal is in life, then you started off with all of the elements that you needed to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Even if you did get a little sidetracked along the way.
Yes, as we do.
And I want to remind people that you're listening to CHLY 101.7 FM. This is Character Driven, and this is my friend Lindsay Vukovich, who's in... what do I want to... Anyway, she's in the studio with me. I've dragged her up from Victoria. Uh-huh. And so she's got two actresses as daughters as well. Mm-hmm. Her husband has taught acting at UVic and theatre, and so that's actually where we met, was through that channel. And so our backgrounds are similar, but I didn't have the dancing, and I had the singing part, but I didn't have the dancing and all that stuff. So you were a tap dancer with Bing Crosby. I mean, who can beat that? And Vera Lynn.
Well, she used to end the show, and I believe you've got that right, with White Cliffs. Every that was the theme tune, obviously, and I'm sure everyone knows.
Well, that was exciting to know that you had been on stage with Vera Lynn, because my father had a connection to that. When he was in the Second World War, he was organizing events. And it probably was in a very similar area to where you lived. I think it was in Blackpool. And so he was up there, not only serving overseas, but he wanted to be able to do what he loved to do, which was to put on a dance. My dad loved to dance. Yeah. So anytime he could do that was great. And he was in a couple of dance halls with Vera Lynn. And so let's listen to Vera Lynn, in case this is the inspirational song that got everybody through
the Second World War,
through the war, and through all of the, especially if you're living in England. I mean, we meaning the people that were alive at that time, didn't have to deal with it on this side as much. We sent people over, but there were people that were experiencing their houses being bombed, and I just can't even imagine what it was like for those. Yeah. So Vera Lynn was the one that was giving people inspiration, and so I'm going to play her classic. This is White Cliffs of Dover.
There'll be bluebirds over the white cliffs of Dover tomorrow. Just you wait and see. There'll be love and laughter and peace ever after tomorrow, when the world is free. The shepherd will tend his sheep, the valley will bloom again, and Jimmy will go to sleep in his own little room again. There'll be bluebirds over the white cliffs of Dover. Tomorrow, just you wait and see. The shepherd will tend his sheep, the valley will bloom again, and Jimmy will go to sleep in his own little room again. There'll be bluebirds over the white cliffs of Dover. Tomorrow, just you wait and see.
Well, hopefully that brought a tear to someone's eye. Even if you are in the next generation, you probably remember your mom or your grandma singing that song, and or there must be some story that's related to that. And you being raised in England would have really related to that. So we're just bringing a little bit of that nostalgia back to the folks that are on this side of the pond.
That's right.
So tell me a little bit about what Vera Lynn, what she meant to the people in England, and what you heard about that.
Well, really, I mean, when you said Vera Lynn, you thought of that song. That's what I thought of anyway. She's a Dane, so she's highly regarded, and she did a lot for charity and, of course, the soldiers' morale. She kept that morale alive, and the people, in London. But I believe she used to do a lot of answer performances as well, go out and perform for the soldiers. So that
kept
was
them
quite
entertained.
amazing.
Yeah,
and lifted their morale. I mean, they'd be singing that. The homesickness must have been terrible.
I can't even imagine, because I know for my dad it was the other way around, because he was separated from his family for 5 years. So my mom and he were married in 1939. And then he was shipped off when my sister was born in 1940, and then she's quite a bit older than me. But
No.
But 1940. Anyway, she was born in 1940, and my dad was shipped off when she was 10 weeks old, and didn't see her for 5 years.
That happened a lot. They didn't know their dads when they came back.
For 5
Who's
years?
that man? Who's come in our house, Mum? Who is he? Yeah, I've
If
heard
my
that.
Auntie Joan is listening, which I don't think she might be listening to the show right now, but I'm going to play this for her later. She's in Victoria, and she was the closest in age to my sister. So she was my mom's sister. And she used to go to the trains and say, "Oh, there's your dad. There's your dad." And just pulling her leg.
Yeah.
Back when everybody had a different sense of humor.
Yeah.
That man in uniform is your father. Anyway, so that's another, there's Christmas, but there's also other times of the year that I can't even imagine those war brides that came over here. And they were brought to places like Saskatoon.
Yeah, just left.
It's like, okay.
Not knowing anyone.
Yeah, they're just in the frozen north, or they're literally, a lot of them came to little log cabins. They'd come from London and these sort of major cities. And they come back with these Canadian soldiers and had no idea what their life was going to be. So if there's anybody out there who is a war bride, knew a war bride, then, and you have any requests for songs, you can always call us. But this is not really that kind of show necessarily, but it is a little bit nostalgic, because I wanted Lindsey to tell us about her upbringing and what Christmas was like. We've talked about pantomimes. We've talked about her doing the shows. Were you ever, now tell us about being in the ballet. Tell us about where you went from being a child star, I guess, moving on into your teenagehood.
Well, I was at the Royal Ballet School for a while, and then I left there and went to the Young Generation, and just went on from there doing different shows. I did a Normal Wisdom show, you know, a summer season with Normal Wisdom. Then I did a summer season with Freddie Starr. And it goes on and on like that. That was the normal path of a dancer. But I always knew, really, I wanted to act. So I kind of thought, well, I'll do this for a while, you know. And then I had to go back to... I just found it very, very difficult to be taken seriously, to get hold of scripts, to go to those auditions, unless you'd been to acting school and you got some help, you know, at the end of that training to have agents come and see you and things like this, which didn't always happen, depending on which school you went to. Didn't happen greatly with me, but anyway, you get through somehow.
They came to the schools and were scouting, or how?
Usually, if you went to a good enough school, yeah. But yeah, they did usually. But I mean, just the fact that you'd been and had that training gave you the confidence to say, I need a script, I want to do this, I want to do that. I mean, even though I had all that experience before, which you can't actually teach,
No.
I just needed to gain contacts and things, yeah.
So you went to ballet, the School of Ballet.
Royal Ballet, yeah.
Ballet. So that was when... Tell me about what that was like, because you...
That was 8 hours of ballet a day.
It's insane.
It was a wonderful school, wonderful teaching.
So you're sent away from your home, your family.
Too early, really. I didn't have a clue, you know. I mean, I was in this little bed sit. I think we had one of those rings, you know, the ring cooker things, in our room. I think I could boil an egg, that's about it. And that used to end up hard, you know. I didn't have any...
You wonder why those ballet dancers are so skinny.
No idea. It wasn't great.
Mm-hmm.
No, I should have gone into some kind of, you know, hostel where you were looked after a bit. But it was hard, yeah. It was too young, really, 16, 17. Right. But you get through it, and I made some great friends there. But I knew that I didn't want to do that. Mm. I'd had too much of the other side, you know, the performing and everything.
Right.
But
Really
it was a great honour. I was really, really grateful for going there. Yeah.
Well, you're known as an actress now, and a singer. I mean, you've gone on stage in both capacities, but I would say you are probably best known as an actress in Victoria. Mm-hmm. You came across. Tell me about how you got to Toronto when you met Ned in London.
I met my future husband just as he was emigrating. And that was in 1990, I believe, yeah.
And he was coming over for what reason?
Well, his family was in Kingston. Mm. Yeah, they'd emigrated, and his brother earlier than that. So we had a long-distance relationship for a couple of years. And then I used to come over for the summers, and it just went on from there. And then eventually I stayed. We got married in Kingston in 93, and yeah.
93, eh?
Yeah.
Gosh. Seems like yesterday.
Sort of, yeah.
Yesterday and then like 2 lifetimes ago. Mm. So you came over, and then he's been working in the film industry and
yeah. We also
TV.
had a very successful theatre company in Toronto for a while called Lovers and Madmen. And that won awards and different plays that he directed, and I was starring in some of them, not all of them, but they were great. It was a great time. Great time for theatre.
And that was before BC.
That was before BC.
BC before children.
BBC.
Yeah, well, there's lots of BCs.
Yeah.
But I always sort of consider that, the life before children, when you're able to just kind of do your thing.
Yeah.
And
before the vacuum.
Before
that you're sucked into, and then my God, it's 10 years later. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. And so what you find in theater is that one person has to kind of look after the kids, mm-hmm. and the other one is able to do their thing. And sometimes it's, it doesn't always have to be that it's the woman's, staying at home with the kids.
Yeah.
I guess if the tables had turned and you had a successful career as an actress, it probably would have been a different thing.
Yeah.
But in this case, Ned ended up teaching at UVic.
Mm-hmm.
All everything's erupting out there. If you could only be here and see what's happening in person. We're just trying to keep our focus off of what's happening out there.
It's not the earthquake, is it?
No, Dava's out there. We got Carolee, we got Jesse, we've got Steve, and they're all having a really good time. Dava's entertaining people out in the, what shall we call it, the lobby?
You could call it that, I suppose.
It's not the booth, but anyway. So that if you hear any rumbling around, that's what it is. And then so we've.
Can I just ask something? I mean, maybe some listeners out there. I don't know. I know that this goes everywhere. It goes to the States too. But I acted with someone in a pantomime all those years ago, and she was such a talented lady, and I've lost track of her and can't seem to find anything out about her. If there's anyone out there who has ever heard of Audrey Jean, great actress, wonderful performer. I mean, she reminds me a bit of Carol Channing, but so soulful and just a wonderful, wonderful actor, everything. And I remember being with her for 3 months, and I know that her daughter came over to England and trained as an actress in one of the schools. I remember hearing that, but I just wonder if anyone has ever seen her or knows about her or...
Well, we have a very clever audience.
I know,
There's got to be someone, there's the Sunshine Coast people. They're excellent. They're researchers. They know everything. And then we've got the people over in Vancouver. So if you guys, and Upper Washington State, we've got all sorts of different listeners. So if do you remember the spelling of her last name? It's either...
I don't know whether it's Gean or Jean. I seem to think it was J, but I don't know. But she was from North America, and she just was amazing.
Well, we're going to see if we can track her down somehow. We tried doing a little quick search on the internet. I start paged her and tried to find her, but I couldn't. I was unsuccessful, possibly because I wasn't spelling her name right.
Yeah, it could be.
But I do have, I think what we'll play is My Little Welsh Home, because we were talking about Ivor Emanuel a little bit earlier, but this is for anybody who's Welsh and feeling a little bit nostalgic at this time of the year.
Yeah,
because
we all
I know,
do.
well, at Christmas time, I mean, the Welsh Christmas is, that's where I wanted to be.
Plenty of singing.
Singing and community and really having the essence of what Christmas was about.
Do you know what I've just remembered? I think I actually spoke to Ivor once about Richard Burton, and I think they knew each other.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
It's a small country. Well, they'd be about the same age.
He was one of my favourite actors.
Huh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Richard Burton, yes. Well, it's the voice. It's the resonance of the voice, and it's also the accent. The
Elizabeth.
Yes, well, no wonder she went back to him so many times. Too bad it didn't work out. But anyway, that's a whole other gossipy part of life that I don't want to get into because I don't know anything about them. So this is, again, we're listening to Ivor Emanuel, and this is called My Little Welsh Home. So any of you that are out there who are Welsh and feeling a little bit nostalgic for your little Welsh home, this is going out to you.
I am dreaming of the mountains of my home, of the mountains where in childhood I would roam. I have dwelt 'neath southern skies, where the summer never dies. But my heart is in the mountains of my home. I can see that little homestead on the hill. I can hear the magic music of the rill. There is nothing to compare with the love that once was there. in that lonely little homestead on the hill. I can see the quiet churchyard down below, where the mountain breezes wander to and fro. And when God my soul will keep, it is there I want to sleep, with those dear old folks that loved me long ago.
Isn't that the most beautiful thing that you've ever, well, no, maybe not that you've ever heard, but I just think that Welsh
One of them.
voice
And the Welsh harp.
the harp,
Oh,
it's just, and the message, beautiful. I'm so glad that you introduced me to him, and I'll probably want to go home and play him full blast. It doesn't matter that it's not so much Christmas music, but to me it just reminds me of everything that Christmas
so
is about.
soulful and
So soulful.
nostalgic, yeah.
So then we've got a couple of other songs here that we had lined up. So I'm going to play White Christmas, I think, because we were talking about Bing Crosby and what would Christmas be without Bing?
It wouldn't.
And I won't even play him the rest of the year usually because I want to have it be like this big thing. Now, of course, I don't have my kids at home, but I still do it. I put on that
We can
CD.
still watch those black and white movies, White Christmas,
That's
because
right.
it's just perfect.
Well, this one actually I'm going to dedicate to my son Aaron, who he was so funny. Back when we had, VHS tapes, he kind of kept it in his room, I think, and he would bring it out at Christmas, and this was just so exciting for him.
Yeah.
We would put on, he'll gather everybody around, and he'd have all the, come on, everybody, we're going to watch White Christmas.
Yeah.
So this is for Aaron, my son, who's grown up physically, but he's still a little boy at heart, and I think that this really reminds me of him in so many ways too, but it reminds me of growing up. And so for everybody who has a little Bing in their life, here we go. We're going to play White Christmas.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your day be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be
Treetops glisten
dulcet tones of Bing Crosby. We all know that voice. Isn't it amazing how we have some voices that you can even play one note?
Oh, there's no one that could croon like him.
He's got an amazing voice. So then now you're going to all want to watch White Christmas, and I'm sure you can probably, if you have cable, you can probably watch it any old time of the night or day, because it seems to come on all the time. But apparently you can, get these things on demand as well.
Yeah.
We were watching movies. That was kind of funny because Lindsay wanted to watch Local Hero, and we realized how dated that movies are.
It was one of my favourite movies, and then when I saw it, I thought, thank goodness I didn't go and buy it, because it's still got amazing elements to it.
Yeah,
Burt Lancaster, oh my goodness, amazing. And the cinematography,
It's funny watching with a teenager, because they've seen all of these.
Oh, it's
themes.
so slow for them.
It's so slow. But there were no computers in that entire movie.
It was wonderful. These huge offices with people sitting around, speaking on the phone and writing. Actually with a pen. And you think, oh my goodness.
Funny to see a movie that you see an office without any kind of electronic instruments. Like there's just a clear desk. And the receptionist is there, and she says hello, and there's a phone on the desk. It's just bizarre. And yet that was not that long ago. I think it was 1983.
Yeah.
But for teenagers, it was like, way back in the Stone Ages.
The Ark.
Yeah, the Ark. So now we're going to actually go back to gospel, because that was what we were here for in the first place.
That's what we started with, wasn't
totally
it? The
distracted.
choir.
Yeah, but
Chico.
There's a lot of soul in all of the things that we've decided to play today. But the gospel choir that Chico leads up, I tell you, if you guys, I'm thinking about going down from Nanaimo, and I'm thinking about just carpooling and going down and being part of this, because it's not just the watching. I mean, you really want to be part of it, and the audience was wanting to be part of it, and he was encouraging us to. And but it's one of those things where it's not that you want to be on stage. It's just that you want to be part of whatever's going on. So it's like church. It's like going to church.
Yeah.
And so, those of people that have churches where you are singing gospel, I want to belong to your church. So I think I'm going to have to seek that out if I can't go and be part of the choir. So now this is a classic. Now, I haven't previewed this, so I'm going to hope that this is a really good version of the Edwin Hawkins Singers. I Hear the Voice of Jesus. Here we go.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are coming to the top of the hour. We definitely want to get in "Oh Happy Day" because that was the one that we were actually considering. Right from the very beginning, we wanted to finish with
It's my favourite. It's a lot of people's favourite.
And that was what the gospel choir finished.
And that's what
with.
got everyone on their feet.
Yeah. Oh Happy Day. So we're going to go over to the Edwin Hawkins Singers, and we're going to have them singing "Oh Happy Day," and this is they. And we're going to go out on that. We're going to say thanks for being with us, and from Lindsey and Joni, we're going to. Maybe Lindsay's going to be back next week. Who knows? She's a great sidekick. So here we go with "Oh Happy Day," and you've been listening to Character Driven, and we will see you next week.
Happy Christmas, everyone.